Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. This is the 42nd video in the Learning and Evolving from Past Practitioner series, a video series that aims to introduce important historical figures in the internal style of martial art and Xiudao practice. Last week, I introduced Lu Zhongren, the founder of Lu Zhongren or Lu structure, a training system based on Xiao style 八卦, Song style 形意, and other styles as well. The link to that video is in the description. Additionally, I received some good questions. Therefore, this week's video will be a follow-up to last week's episode. To start off, let me give feedback on comments left by our community members. A long-term community member, Black Master Scott, says, "That's like me learning from my master but adapted to fit my body, which is totally different than his. He was agile and moved around a lot, while I'm a tank that takes a lot of his while moving in." End quote. First of all, thank you for your comment. However, I have to point out that Lu Zhongren's case does not fit your description. What he did was to extract the essence of what he learned from the great teachers and then integrate them into a new system. A system that is based on the traditional systems but elevated to a new level through his analysis and experiments. This is the process of deepening his previously learned knowledge by focusing on the core elements of every single practice, not at all a process of adapting those practices according to his own physical condition. That is the fundamental concept behind any innovative creations of new practice. And it has been the solution used by Lu Zhongren and other figures of his stature. So again, thank you for your comment, which giving me this opportunity to explain it more. I also received a couple of emails asking me about the motivation and the process of how Lu Zhongren created his Lu structure. I will answer this question in the following part of the video. Now, let's continue to today's main topic, the follow-up of last week's video. The Lu Zhongren or Lu structure, transmitted by Lu Zhongren, is the re-systematized synthesis and the refinement that integrates the strengths of Xiao Haibo's 八卦 and the Song style 形意 passed down by Li Xuzhou. More specifically, the Lu structure borrows 八卦's 身法 or body method and its characteristics circular movement patterns. In particular, Xiao Haibo's 八卦 was reformed on the basis of Yin-Yang 八盘掌. It not only inherited the advantages of its body method, but also made the adjustment to the structural framework or postural configuration. At the same time, the Lu structure also draws on the power generation mechanics of Song style 形意, ensuring that this system retains a clear advantage in 发劲 or martial power release. In other words, the Lu structure integrates the characteristics of both 八卦 and 形意 with particular emphasis on method of training 发劲. It should be understood that Lu Zhongren's Lu structure in fact inherits the essence of internal martial arts that took shape in Tianjin during the Republican period and has been transmitted continuously to this day, namely 发劲. This emphasis was first proposed and put into practice by the 形意 community in Tianjin, becoming one of the main distinguishing features of Xingyi in that region. More specifically, the Lu structure is a set of effective training methods formed in order to study how to better handle Fajin in internal martial arts. It is entirely built upon the foundation laid by previous generations and did not arise out of nothing. It is the traditional way of improving martial arts. Here, I would like to introduce the differences between the Zhan Zhuang or standing training taught by Lu Zhongren and that transmitted by Ren Zhicheng. When I was in Tianjin, I systematically studied the Ba Pan Zhang training method transmitted by Ren Zhicheng through one of my teachers, Fu Shoubo. At the same time, I was also exposed to and understood the training method passed down by Lu Zhongren. Therefore, I have a personal experience with both. I will use the Jiama Shi or Jiama posture as an example. Jia means squeeze, Ma means horse, Shi means posture. Put together, it means riding a horse with a squeezing force posture. Jiama posture, also called Jiama Zhuang, and sometimes referred to as the Nei Ba Zi Ma or inward 8-character horse stance, is the fundamental exercise practiced in both Ren Zhicheng, Ba Pan Zhang, and Xiao Haibo's Ba Gua. Although both Ren Zhicheng and Xiao Haibo traced their lineage to Li Zhenqing, their training method differed, and this can be seen in the way their respective disciples practice. In Ren Zhicheng's system, the knees are required to be relaxed on the promise of having a sinking force throughout the body. There is an intention of opening outward to the left and right. At the same time, the coccyx is required to be relaxed. When Lu Zhongren taught his posture, however, he required a supporting and upward bracing force in the knee, which the upper body slightly inclined forward. The tailbone area was also required to carry force, and he particularly emphasized that the tailbone must not be tucked forward. Thus, in this posture, Ren Zhicheng emphasized sinking and relaxation, whereas Lu Zhongren emphasized uplifting and supporting force. Are their two approaches contradictory? In fact, they are not. What Ren Zhicheng transmitted emphasized relaxation, and for this reason, he deliberately stressed other exercises to strengthen the effect of relaxation. For example, the later Rou Jin Shi, or rubbing the tendons, exercise was specifically meant to enhance the effect of this standing posture. However, in subsequent dynamic movements, the knee area must then have a force. Therefore, when I teach this posture, I require relaxation in standing, but when performing the forms, I emphasize the expansive and pengjin or warding off energy in the knees. What Lu Zhongren transmitted emphasized the martial power and the strengthening of a whole body structural force. However, while moving and stepping within the Lu structure, the knees must be relaxed. In other words, Lu emphasized training force within standing practice in order to cultivate dynamic power from stillness, which is expressed by the term 静中求动 or seeking the dynamic within the stillness. Lu Zhongren placed special emphasis on the coordination between the coccyx and the rest of the body. At that time in the martial art community, there was a saying about tucking the tailbone forward. In Tianjin, however, Lu Zhongren in particular strongly opposed this view. Not only that, but he also emphasized that at certain times, such as one standing in the Jiama posture, the tailbone or coccyx should be slightly directed outward, forming a backward directed force. He said, animals are often more skillful than humans in how they handle the tailbone. We can observe how animals use their tails to understand how to treat the tailbone. For example, when a dog is fighting with other animals, its tail stands erect. Only when the dog is defeated does its tail tucked forward. That is the same as a human tucking the tailbone forward. When defeated, the force has disappeared, and the tail naturally takes on that state. I also explained this point in videos I made several years ago. Next, I will demonstrate the rubbing the tendon exercise transmitted by Zhicheng. This is trained to improve the flexibility needed for relaxation, and it is practiced after the jiama posture. Now, let us return to the Lu structure and explain this system further. A very prominent character of the Lu structure in the upper body is the expansive quality of its structural framework. This can be felt from the slight forward inclination of the body and the buoyant, expanded state of the shoulders and the elbows. Lu Zhongren once said, when practicing martial arts, you must 垂肩坠肘 or sink the shoulders and drop the elbows. Only when the shoulders sink and the elbow drop can you form truly rounded, integrated power. In other words, sinking the shoulders and dropping the elbows is proposed on the premise of opening and expanding power in order to prevent propping up the elbows and shrugging the shoulders. It is not a matter of simply pressing everything downward. Otherwise, that would no longer be 形意. It would be like a dog tucking its tail. This vivid metaphor actually revealed the essence of internal martial arts, especially 形意. It is completely different from many modern performer-oriented 形意 training methods. In fact, it represents the authentic requirement of traditional 形意 as practiced in places such as Tianjin. The handling of force and of the shoulders and the elbows in the Lu structure derives from traditional 形意 principles. In particular, the issuing of power is fundamentally based on 形意 requirement. In addition, the Lu structure created by Lu Zhongren is not a martial art method devised solely to suit his own personal physical conditions. Rather, it is a reformed training method synthesized from multiple lineages and methods, and therefore has a broad applicability. For that reason, many people who have practiced the Lu structure have come to appreciate and enjoy this method of training. Now, let's watch a short clip of Lu Zhongren's practice in his late 80s. That was all for today. I hope that follow-up video will clarify some misunderstandings and help practitioners understand Lu Zhongren and his practice better. That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you all found today's topic interesting and informative. Please post any further questions about Lu Zhongren, his practice, or his lineage in the comment section. I will answer them for you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. See you next time and enjoy your practice.